How you feeling,
He's with us.
Cash?
I feel good, man. I feel good. I got a good feeling about things to come, about in my life personally. Good things coming.
Okay.
Good things have been coming all year, but I got a good feeling about good things coming.
That's what we need, man. Nothing but positivity.
Yes,
Through the
sir.
end of 2022, we're about to move into 2023, which is crazy in like
Insanity.
3 weeks.
Insanity. I was just looking at my title playlist. You like title gives you like what you've been listening to all year, like most
Yep.
listened to. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, dang, yo, this song is like that's from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, man.
It's so crazy. I'm
It's
like that came out in January. Like wow, like it's crazy.
the years definitely flown by, but
It
we're
feels
here.
it's kind of like it flew by, but at the same time, it's like it was like it's yesterday.
Yeah,
It seems like it's real right there.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But let's jump into it. For those who don't know, this is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. I am Johnell Pinnell, and this is my guy, Matt Price Cash Walk In. Love to see it. Love to see you.
Yes,
Bro,
get my chains out.
we're going to jump right into it. We got a bunch to get into for this week in basketball. The first thing I kind of want to get into is I know we talk about drama and like the bad stuff that's going on, and that's kind of where we're going to start, unfortunately. Um, I kind of
It's
want to
always
get
going
your
on.
I kind of want to get your thoughts on whether or not this is a big story or not. We saw Trae Young. Trae Young did not play. I believe it was the Friday game. He didn't play in the game, but he also did not even show up
Show
to
up,
the
right? Okay.
facility, to the arena for the game, a home game at that, which is
Hmm.
very odd. For those who don't know, Trae, he's kind of nursing a shoulder injury, and allegedly, from reports, um, that morning, Trae did not want to do shoot around. He wanted to get treatment and then come back for the walkthrough. Nate McMillian, the Hawks head coach, said, "Nope, I want you here for shoot around, and then you can go get your treatment during the walkthrough." Um, words were exchanged or whatever. And then apparently Nate McMillan kind of gave him an ultimatum like, you can either come off the bench or you can just not come to the game. Trae decided not to go to the game, and here we are. Um, Trae kind of shrugged it off, no big deal. We're grown men. We're not going to agree on everything. And both of them kind of alluded to they've talked about it, they worked through it, and it's water under the bridge.
Right.
Is this a big deal? The fact that your best player, your all-star player on the team, and your head coach aren't getting along, or they're having squabbles, or whatever the case is. Is this a big deal for the Atlanta Hawks?
I think it's a big deal for them as far as chemistry, like because only because of the position that Trae plays. Trae is the coach
Yeah.
on the floor. He plays point guard, so he
Yep.
needs to have that relationship, that connection with Nate McMillan, so that he can dictate to the rest of the players on the court exactly what Nate wants them to do, may it be offensively or defensively. So that's the start, right?
Yep.
But also because of that relationship, I think that I do believe them both when they say we're past it because both of them, the focus is winning. They want to win a championship. I don't think that anybody could doubt that Trae has that fire in him and that he wants to win.
Absolutely.
This is a guy who's already taken his team in a very young career to a conference finals and almost got him to the finals.
Yep.
Uh, so when I think, I think that he's going to get by it. It's a bigger deal for Nate McMillan though than anybody because
Why do you say that?
I'm of the opinion that like, look, if ever it comes to it and Trae, it is kind of harboring some ill feelings and things don't go right for them, then the first person to go is going to be Nate because the
Yes.
owner is always going to get rid of the coach first.
Yep.
You can replace coaches. Players like Trae are hard to replace. So I think it's we have to see how this materializes throughout the season, and they play the Knicks tonight, so we'll
Yep.
see how that goes. And one of the things, the lights are brighter in Madison Square Garden, so we'll see how things heat up. If maybe they're in a close game, or Nate's trying to call out this, and Trae is like, man, whatever, and I'm gonna run what
Yeah.
I want to run. Those are the type of things you have to look for. So I'm curious to see, but I think it's like I said, it's a bigger deal for Nate McMillan because if anybody's gonna go, if this thing goes sideways, it's gonna be Nate first.
So I definitely agree, and that was actually one of my points. I think there's two sides to it. One is the head coach star player dynamic, and I 1,000% agree with you that I think across all sports, the coach is always going to be the first person to go if there's a beef between them and a star player. And I think that goes for the franchise. I think that goes for the fan base as well. Like they're going to be much more okay getting rid of Nate McMillan than they are going to be Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? Um, on the other side, I I don't think it's a big deal for Trae simply because me personally, I don't see him as a prima donna. I think we talked about it last week with Pat Bev. Like him being an undersized player in the NBA, he absolutely has to be, fiery and intense and,
Right,
like he's got to play that way. And but I don't see him as somebody that is gonna skip out on a practice, for no reason.
right.
I also think that I don't know which shoulder it is. Do you know if it's his shooting shoulder or his other one?
I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not
So
100% sure.
so if the reports are true and it's it was about shoot around, I think it's more important for Trae to be in the walkthrough than it is for him to be in shoot around, especially if it's
Right,
his shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So I think there's still, and I don't know if we're ever going to get an answer, especially the way that Trae and Nate McMillian answered.
I
Um,
agree.
but I don't think it's that big of a deal for Trae just because of the player that he is. I think he's still going to go out there. He's going to play. He's going to play hard. He's going to deliver. So I don't think he's going to lose anything with the fan base. I don't think he's going to lose anything with the franchise, with his teammates. It's kind of like what he said. It's two adults having a conversation, a disagreement, and the fact that it
Yeah,
got out, it then became a story.
he said as much too, and when he got into it with the reporter, he
Yep.
was like, it's unfortunate that it's a personal, private matter made it public, and people from outside are gonna make of it what they make of it. But
Yep.
it is what it is, and like I said, I do believe them because they are probably closer than any other player coach combination on that roster. He's probably closer to Nate than anybody because they're
Yeah.
communicating the most.
Yep. Yep. I'm definitely with you. And right now they're sitting at the 4th seed in the East, behind Boston, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. And again, I mean they're right in the thick of things, just like they have been the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
I think I don't even want to say Nate McMillan's going to be tested in terms of his coaching and being able to manage Trae and the team and things like that. I mean they're a good team. We'll see. Like you said, the
Yeah.
road doesn't get easier for them, and
No.
if there's like a lingering ember, and then they run into a tough stretch where they lose 4 or 5, and Trae's not playing
Yeah.
well, like does that ignite into something more?
Or Trae is hurt or kind of banged up, and
Yes,
they start losing a little bit, and he's like, I'm not even coming back to this. Like I'll just sit out until I'm 100%. You
yeah,
know what I mean? That
yeah,
could happen if they start losing, and he'll do. Players have their way of doing what they have to do to get rid of
absolutely,
a coach when they want him gone.
absolutely. And I hope I hope that's not the case.
Me
I
too.
hope neither one of us wish Nate McMillan gets fired or anything like that.
Nope.
I
He's
just
done a
think
good job
it's
there.
yeah, I think it's just something that growing pains. They've got to figure it out, work through it, and hopefully they come out stronger on the other side.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Um, Speaking of you know, good teams in the league, we definitely have some teams that are on the rise, and we definitely have some teams that are falling.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Rising, we like the Nets, the Lakers, and the Mavs. Brooklyn 7-3 in their last 10, as well as the Lakers. The Mavs they've been 5-5 in their last 10, but they've climbed up to the 7th seed in the West.
Yeah, they're on a winner right now. They're on a 3-game winner.
Yep. Are we sold on any of these three teams? Will they be able to continue it? Will they be able to climb the standings? The Lakers are still on the outside looking in, but they've been on a
Right.
heater. Anthony Davis has been playing incredibly.
Yep.
Do we think this is sustainable?
With the Lakers and the Mavs, right? As far as my for rising, first of all, I'm going to say the Nets. I think they're going to be all right. I think they kind of figured it out now that the turmoil. I think they might have worked through everything. And Kevin's playing, Kyrie's playing, everybody's playing. Things are
Yep.
looking all right for them. I
Yep.
think that outside of the top 3 teams in the East, Boston, Cleveland, and Milwaukee, it's really anybody below that. Brooklyn's going to fall somewhere from 4 to 6, 4 to 7,
I
and
agree with that.
they'll be all right. When it comes to the Cavs and the Lakers, like you've seen how different in the last week. You've seen how different the Lakers are with the Anthony Davis they need and
Yes.
without him at all.
Yes.
Last night they played actually not that bad against Cleveland. Cleveland had a great short shooting fourth quarter, and they really just kind of just blew it. They blew it open a little bit. Donovan Mitchell went off, but the Lakers were in that game the entire game. They played them really tough. Everybody, if they had AD, they probably win that game.
I agree with that.
The way he's been playing. So I think it's just hinged on their health. And the same with excuse me, Dallas. I almost said Cleveland again. With Dallas, the same with them. Luka, as long as he's healthy, they're getting contributions out of Tim Hardaway Jr. Christian Wood's playing great. Luka, he's just I don't even. I'm telling you, that's like my NBA crush right now, bro. Luka is unbelievable, yo.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. What he's doing it's crazy to me. So it's hinged on their health, and I think that they're just going to keep rising up. He's playing at such a high level that if those guys just give him a little bit, then they're going to be doing some great things. So I like I said, Lakers and Mavs, it's hinged on health, but I think that they're going to keep rising up. As long as those two guys keep playing the type of basketball they're playing right now, the Nets, they're in.
Yeah, so I'm with you on the Nets. I think out of those three teams, the Nets have the best team. They have the two superstars. They also have a better supporting cast than the Mavs and the Lakers. 1,000% agree with you on the Lakers going as far as Anthony Davis will take them. I mean, over the last week, 2 weeks, 9 games, 10 games, or something like that, he was averaging like 35 and 12 or 13 or something like that. Shades of Pelicans, Anthony Davis. So and we both know that that's not sustainable for the entire season, but if he plays at a high level, the Lakers will absolutely climb their way back into the playoffs and be a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a healthy Anthony Davis and a healthy LeBron, I mean, you can't really bet against them.
Westbrook has fit that role too.
He has played very well
in that role.
Yes. I don't agree with you fully on Dallas. I agree that Luka is incredible. He's been playing incredibly. Like I said, they're the 7th seed right now in the West. Until I see it, I just don't believe it. Which is not a knock on him. It's just, I mean, it kind of is a knock on him. Just his way.
It's a knock.
His style of play, he's been playing great. Again, he's been getting contributions as of late. Or the team has been getting contributions as of late. But until I see it and like truly see them make a run, I just don't believe in the Mavs. But they're going to be in the playoffs. I'm with you on that for sure.
I hear that.
And then what about some teams that are falling? The Sixers, the Heat, the Nuggets. I definitely have my thoughts on the Sixers for sure, and it kind of ties in the Nuggets as well. You want me to go first? You want to jump into it?
Yeah, go ahead, because you were already on the roll. I was listening.
So my thing with the Sixers, they're gonna be in the playoffs.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna be a tough out. I'm of the firm belief that you cannot win in today's NBA with a traditional big man.
Oh, I knew
And
you were gonna say this. I knew you were
and
gonna
I
say this.
and I know the pushback. I know the pushback that I'm gonna get is Joker and Embiid aren't traditional big men, but
Yes.
because they stretch the floor, they can shoot threes, they can dribble the ball,
Yes.
they can pass. I get all that stuff. But once if they, in my opinion, they truly need to lean in on the fact that they are bigger and stronger than 90% of the league. And if they're not going to do that, if they're going to settle for three, if they're going to sit around the arc, if they're not going to be in the paint, then they just turn into a big, slow player on the court.
Yeah.
And at that point, they don't have as much of an advantage.
Yeah, he's not taking advantage of the advantage.
Exactly. So defensively, they're not going to be able to switch out onto a Giannis. They're not going to be able to play defense on an AD. And when they're on. We've seen Embiid go for 50, 50 and 15. We've seen, Joker with his triple doubles and the whole nine. But I just don't think it's conducive to winning in this style of NBA.
The point center doesn't turn you on, huh?
It does not.
I think that I don't mind how the 76ers play. I do mind how Joel Embiid kind of goes. I agree. He moves to the finesse side of his game a little too often. And I do think that he should just be like backing everybody down. He should just be a traditional big, because I think that's what the league isn't seeing. There are none in the league, and he's closer to that than he is like, this 3-point shoot. Like, he does that stuff. Yes, he can do it well. Yes, but I think what his bread and butter should be pounding the ball inside and just punishing people for a whole game, because by the fourth quarter they won't want anymore. But that's not their problem. Is Embiid? Embiid had 39 points the other day in a double overtime loss to the lowly level Houston Rockets.
Yes.
You said it yourself. It's a guard league, and they're not getting great guard play. James Harden was in 38 minutes, 4 of 19.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like, not good. 4 of 11 from three. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. He was 4 of 19 from the field, and all the shots he hit were just threes. Yeah. So it's just him, dribble, Chuck again. That's where we're back to that again. Yep. And it's not utilizing everybody on the team anymore. And they're missing Maxey right now. He's out. Absolutely. So they got to get better guard play. PJ Tucker. Tobias Harris is playing better, and I think it benefited him playing by himself without Harden and Embiid for that little stretch.
Yep.
They kind of running the show, kind of helped get him going. So I think that they're falling right now, going through a rough stretch, getting everybody back into the mix and back on the court. But I think once that group gets their gel and Doc gets them all finally healthy and on the court at the same time for a significant stretch, that they're going to be all right. Denver, I also think, is going to turn it back up. Miami is who I don't believe in.
Me either.
They don't have the health. Kyle Lowry, we hated him, and then that one Toronto year we liked him. And then it was and now I'm back to hating him. Because he is so bad. He's stealing money down there for them. And then the health is an issue. Jimmy's not playing every night either. Yep. Bam is not. Bam Adebayo, he had his big year in the bubble where he was blocking Tatum and dunk and all that stuff like that.
Yep.
Boy, ain't been the same since. He's not scored. He hasn't improved as a scorer at all. What has he added to his game to make it better? Bam, if anything, has regressed. And I don't think he's the same level of defensive player as he was that year. So, and then Tyler Hero, another guy with injury issues, is inconsistent at best. Let's just say that. Yeah. Inconsistent at best. He's not somebody who you hitch your wagon to offensively and say, go out there, score 25 plus, and win us this game.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Hero, he's capable, but they don't have, as good as Jimmy Butler is, right? He's not the quintessential superstar
Right.
that, to your point, I mean, he can. We've seen glimpses of it. But
Yeah.
Jimmy, go out there. We need 8 straight buckets or 8 straight
Yeah.
points. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need you to go
Yeah.
out there and carry the team. He can do it for a bit, but he's not. I like Jimmy Butler. He's not that guy.
Me too.
And then after the bubble, we all thought Bam was the next up. We thought his length, his athleticism, we thought he was going to develop offensively. He was already a great
Me too.
defender, and we haven't seen that. And then again, you get the Tyler Heroes, you get the Duncan Robinsons, where it's like, oh, like they've got a cast around them that is going to be very tough to beat. Kyle Lowry. But the health, obviously, and then for whatever reason, just across the board, it doesn't seem like those players that we thought were going to be great, they just haven't taken the next step, and we see it in the standings.
They haven't taken off. I mean, that group, where the way they played through the bubble and in the finals, that it really gave you belief that this team's gonna be there. Man, they just opened the window was closing on Jimmy Butler, and they opened it back up when you saw him in the bubble. And I just don't think I think that window is back closing again.
I agree.
Because again, he's dealing with a lot of different health issues. We know the way he plays is like he just plays so hard.
Yep.
And it's gonna be tough for him to get through all 82 and then the whole entire playoffs. And they're gonna be going through, they're gonna be a lower seed, having to go on the road in the playoffs for every series, be an underdog. It's not how it was last year where they were, the 1 seed.
Yep.
So it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're trending down. I think they're going to stay trending down, quite frankly.
I think so too. I think that they're closer to the lottery than they are to the playoffs.
Yeah, just too much to overcome, even with a coach like Eric Spoelstra.
Like Spo. And I love Spo. He's a great coach.
Me too.
Great coach.
And I think for me, I think what really solidified my belief that they were going to be in the cellar this year was when I saw Udonis Haslem out there guarding Jason Tatum, getting cooked on the perimeter. Like, I don't even understand how UD is in the game in the Lord's year of 2022. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I saw somebody on Twitter say, why they got that artifact in the game anyway? I said, no, they did not call him an artifact, yo. This is crazy. The internet, y'all got to chill out, man. Y'all got to chill out. It's just,
there's no reason for him to be out there. And then, matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I did see that too. And UD responded. He was like, your mama.
Your mama's an artifact. That's crazy.
And speaking of the internet, I feel like you might have retweeted this. I know I definitely saw it, and I think you might have responded to it. Traveling in the NBA. They're looking to crack down on the traveling in the NBA. And I saw a video of Ja Morant, and a dude was just going like
travel. We said right foot stop.
Just scene by scene, just click by click. He was like, yo, travel. What's he doing? Look, the NBA is trying to crack down on traveling. I get it, I guess. My issue is them doing this 30 games into the season. Like, if you're gonna make this drastic of a change, and it is, like, it's literally going to change the way these players are handling the basketball. If you're gonna make this drastic of a change, do it in the offseason so that they have time to get acclimated. You can bring in the refs during, like practices and preseason or whatever, and let them get used to it, as opposed to just springing it on them last week.
In the middle of the season, like last week. And, bro, I'm telling you, though, it will really affect the game. Like, I was at that Knicks-Cavs game on Sunday. Knicks won 92-81. That was the final score, a good old 2004 score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one of those. Bro,
Yeah.
14 travels were called.
Yeah. It's crazy.
14. 14 travels. I think they called Julius Randle like 2 times. RJ Barrett got called for like 4 travels. They called Donovan Mitchell for 2 travels. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. And like, they were calling mad and I can tell you, I just let it go. I thought I wanted them to call it, yo, but like, as a fan, watch it, like, yo, it was so, like,
I
it
believe
was
it.
horrible. I actually would prefer they don't call the trap. I, like, I was like, oh my god, on both sides. Like, the game's just stopping, and it was just
Yeah.
a bad. Oh, it was horrible. Let them travel. I don't care.
It's
If
just,
it's like egregious, stop it. But like those little itty bitties, let them happen. I don't care. Foot shuffle, pivot foot slide. I don't care. Let it go.
inevitably in sports, they're always going to tweak rules and things like that to try and make it better. Like, I I think we're both in agreement. We both understand that that's going to be the case across the board. And I know that there's so many complaints about the way the NBA is now versus the 90s and early 2000s. Just the way the game was played. You know what I'm saying? So I remember even with Allen Iverson, they were at that point they were saying, "Oh, he's carrying when he's
He's
crossing
carrying with
over,"
the crossover. Yeah.
you know, and it's again like I mentioned the John Morant video, like the way that I mean, some of them were egregious, but you
Yeah.
know, like that's the way that he plays, and that's the way that he's been playing for the last
Yeah.
15 years of his life. You know what I'm saying? So like
And nobody
to
ever called it on him.
exactly. So I don't
Including
know.
y'all last year.
I'm interested to see just how far the league goes with enforcing this,
Yeah.
because I'm sure there's going to be some pushback. I think I saw Thibodeau talking about it. I think I saw Steve Kerr talking about it, and they were just kind of like, it is what it is. Like if they're looking to enforce it, then that's fine. But make sure that it's being enforced the same across the board, you know?
Right.
You can't give preferential treatment. It can't be John Morant one thing and James Harden something else,
Yeah.
and it's got to
Not
be
even that.
universal.
It can't be like somebody like Jordan Poole or no, or just name random player off the bench for Portland
Exactly.
Trailblazers, and then you don't call it on Ja or
Yeah.
don't call it on Luca. That is what the superstar treatment is. What the fans are like alluding to, and especially that guy. He's like, Ja Morant must be stopped because he's like, we get it. It's electrifying. It's exciting stuff. But
Yep.
like, bro, I even when you're watching it, he does it so smoothly you can't even tell in real time that he's doing it. My man was just really like he was locked in on Josh. He had to expose that man.
When I tell you it was scene by scene, you could hear his laptop. He was clicking
You
hard.
can hear the clicks, right? He's like,
And so do you think this is going to be, I mean, do you think it's going to be an issue, or do you think these players are good enough to where they'll adjust and it'll just be a conversation that we're having on December 7th and that's it?
it'll become an issue when it costs somebody a game on a game-winning possession when they call it, and it's like a one-possession game or something like that, and Luca's backing a guy down, and then he does a little spinneroo foot shuffle, and they call travel, and Dallas loses, or when Ja does one of these and they call a carry on him,
Yeah,
and that loses the game for them, and if you lose traction in the standings as a result of that loss, then
maybe.
it'll become dramatic. You know, when a coach starts to really address you publicly in that particular call, and they start, doing what they do in the media,
Yep.
that's when it'll become a problem.
Fair enough. You're probably right, honestly. It's going to be a combination of that, and um if we have a game where you know the Pacers are called for 8 travels and the Knicks are called for 2, and they
Yeah,
they lose by 25, then it's gonna it'll
exactly.
be a story.
Yeah, like
So
the huge slide in one direction or the other. Yeah, the
yeah.
tipping of the scale, so to
And,
speak.
and I think the other part about doing it in season is that it opens the door for a lot of criticism, because
Right.
now, yes, you have the league enforcing it, but now you've got, fans and coaches and players that are going to speak up about it if things aren't going their way or whatever the case is. And you're going to get a lot of people like sitting down and analyzing like, hey, how come Luka wasn't called for travel or carry right here? Why wasn't,
I'm curious how many of these guys are about to pop up. How many online refs or like these referees that are really like one of my boys, Marcus, is a referee, and I posted
Mhm.
that, and he always shows up talking about. He's like, "That's the rules of the game. That's how we have to enforce it. It's a rule by the book." Like, yo, the
Yeah,
referees be taking it serious, yo. They don't play about that.
I
Like, you're
believe you,
gonna.
man.
It gives him an unfair advantage. When he carries the ball like this, it gives him. He was so high, man. I get
We'll
it, man.
see.
You guys, these refs, they're serious about the game, man. You gotta show them love.
Yeah,
Play the game
yeah.
the right way.
They'll they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. The
Yeah,
players, that
I
is,
have no doubt. I have
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah. So we're wrapping up soon. Every week I do ask you if you have a game of the week. Do you have a game of the week this week that we should be? Oh, actually, speaking of that game last week, Indiana and Sacramento.
Oh, right?
Bro,
Outstanding.
outstanding.
Outstanding
I'm
game.
I'm honestly I'm totally bought into Sacramento. Like
Really,
they're
right?
a
Right?
good team. They're a good
They're a
team.
good
Light the
team.
beam. Light the
Yeah.
beam.
Yo, Sacramento, I'm telling you. You guys, I told you, get ready. They need to get ready. That's what it is.
Well, what are
So,
we thinking this
okay.
week?
Listen, I'm going with tonight's game of Boston versus Phoenix. These are two of the teams,
Yes.
top teams in the league. I like to see what Boston's going to do out on the road. They're on a serious roll right now. Jason Tatum, currently MVP.
Yep.
Anybody can lock that in and agree. I really like that contest. I also, honorable mention, Golden State in Utah. No Steph. I want to see
Okay.
that. I know it's like tough to watch a game without Steph, but I'm curious to see what this team can do on the road without Steph and finally trying to get that thing turned around on their road. Their road record's bad.
Terrible. Do you have any predictions for either one of those games?
I like Boston on the road, but then you know what? Actually, no, flip that. Boston. I like Phoenix over Boston on the
Okay.
road only because. Ooh, let me call this dude back. Only because Devin Booker played bad last night, and I
Mm-hmm.
want him to play. I think he's going to play good tonight.
Okay. Okay. And then what about
That's the only reason.
the other game?
And for Golden State, listen, they need this win. It'll keep them from. If they lose, they'll be at 500. So they need the win. But I think the Utah is going to pull this out at home. They're a very good home team.
Okay.
I think they only have one home loss, and it was the
Maybe
Knicks.
maybe we'll start keeping track of your weekly picks.
Maybe we'll
Let's
see about it.
so that's all we got for you guys this week. Cash. You got anything else that you want to let the people know before we get out of here for the week?
Ooh, man, I don't. What do I got? No, I got nothing, man. Let's go
Nothing.
Knicks. That's all I got. Let's go Knicks.
Always
Trade
let's go
Julius
Knicks.
Randle. That's it.
You guys do
Trade
got
Julius
Trae
Randle.
Young tonight.
Don't trade.
Hopefully,
Don't trade Emmanuel quickly. Trade Julius Randle.
well, I don't see that happening, but we
I
will
know
keep an
it's
eye
not
on
gonna
it.
happen. It's not gonna happen. But I need to use my platform for something positive, and that's positive.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yo, again, this is Designated Reports Heat Check. I'm Johnell. This is my guy, Cash Walkin, and we will be in touch with y'all. We will see you again next week.
Holla.